I can say one thing about your or both of our characters for sure. If you watch a lot of montages or if you've seen highlights and stuff like that, you only ever see the glimpses of the hypest, craziest stuff from our characters, which makes you think that our characters play aggressive and insane and do the risky stuff, and that's just how the character is at all times. When realistically, I would say 85% of my sweaty gameplay with Falco, none of that is happening. I get hype clips from time to time, or if I'm fighting someone who's brand new, or maybe if it's a student who doesn't know the matchup, or they're a brand new player, which is totally fine. That's when crazy things will happen sometimes. But if I'm fighting someone who is as good as me, if not better than me, or in a matchup that is very not good for Falco, it's tremendously slow. Like Falco Sephiroth against a very good Sephiroth, I'm not styling on him like ever. It's so hard to get in on the Sephiroth that just wants to run away, jump away with back air, shadow flare, forward tilt, and then go over here, do the same thing over and over again, catch me with an up air, and then just kill me with a back air or something like that, like 95. Right? It's ridiculously hard. So if you feel like things are snowballing out of control, there's a chance that you're trying to engage in neutral too many times or too frequently when you actually don't have a true opening or a genuine opening. So we can segue a little bit to say, okay, what does a genuine opening look like? A genuine opening would look like, let's say, there's two different kinds. Two different kinds. So the first one would be if I make a genuine mistake, like let's say if I go like this, like an actual misinput, right? Or if I like let's say go for an F smash, completely miss, something like that would be a genuine opening. The other genuine opening would be if you see a pattern come out and you can anticipate that the pattern is actually going to come true. That pattern would be like let's say if I go nair into an up tilt. If you're not going to go nair up tilt every single time I nair, because I want to get nair into an up tilt combo, the genuine opening is knowing that if I do this into a landing nair, you can bet that the up tilt is coming. In which case you can go for a grab, you can go for your side B. You could probably come down in front of me with like a nair and try and space it in front. If you really want to be fancy, you get like a nair combo. But those would be openings as far as calling out a pattern or calling out or seeing an actual genuine misinput. Right, if I go like this, for example, obviously a clear mistake. Or if I let's say even down tilt backwards or forward tilt backwards, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I do anything. If I even let's say if I go like if I shoot you point blank in this matchup, that would still be a genuine opening because it's minus 26 or minus 24 on hit. Right, or sorry, it's minus 24 on shield. I don't know what it is on hit. I want to say it's like minus 18 or something like that. But you could most definitely side B or up smash point blank. So that's some matchup knowledge stuff you'd have to know. Okay?
So yeah, that makes sense.
On the flip side of things, if I'm just doing this is not a genuine opening. Just because I'm not throwing out an attack does not mean that you can just go ahead and do whatever you want. If you try and take a risk in this situation, you have a 50-50 chance of being successful. Because you might jump at me with a fair and catch me, or I just jump away with the back air and I catch you, or you land in front of me, and let's say you go landing there, and you panic and you jab, and then I come out of the way and I go for a grab of my own, or I come over the top of the down air or something because it was just a bait that I was moving in front of you. So it's not a genuine opening. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So if it's a non-genuine opening, that's where risk management comes into play. And for risk management, that would be basically if I jump in with a fair and I'm wrong, what's the worst thing that could happen to me? And is that worth going for anyways? Right? So that's why you'll see a the very beginning of games, people will start off like this, and they'll just walk around or jump around. They'll shoot their projectile if they have one, but they're not just going to go 3, 2, 1, go, run across the stage and go for a grab. Like, someone might do that if they're insane, but that shouldn't be happening, right? Same thing for you. If you just run across the stage and go for a grab, I think your grab's like frame 15 or 16. It's very slow, right? So if you happen to miss that, it's pretty bad to miss, right? So with regards to your risk management, of course, I can say in some situations you do have to try and make things happen, but there's also positioning that you can use to put someone in the spot where it's worth trying to do something. For example, if you have me in the corner, this is where you can take a bit of a risk with a poke, right? I'm not saying you should just run and hit me like this, because if you happen to go for a fair on shield, I grab you and throw you off stage, then that was not worth the risk. However, if you were to move around on stage and get me to get stuck on a platform, let's say I'm right here, you could risk going for up tilts underneath me and try to hit me out of that situation. A lot of what makes your character good is your speed and your movement. Trying to get somebody to accidentally put themselves in a bad spot. So wasting my double jump over top of your paralyzer, getting stuck on top of a platform and shield, going to the ledge because I got scared of either a dash attack or another or let's say paralyzer or side B or flip kick or anything like that. Something you could have rushed me down with, right? If you happen to hit me with like let's say a forward throw, and then I miss my tech, or I do tech and I roll away, I put myself in the corner, right? Just using your movement, or even like very simple moves like your jab, which is frame 1 as well, to just knock somebody down or get stage control. Then from there, you can use your risk management to say, I'm going to throw out a back air in front of them, because if they happen to jump in, they're going to get hit by this back air, and if I happen to be wrong, I have the entire stage behind me to move out of the way and reset the situation.
Oh, yeah, that actually makes sense.
So this is where a lot of ZSS's gameplay, or even Falco's gameplay, this is how they're very similar, because if we don't have a genuine read, or we have to play very, very safely or slowly, this is why the game will take forever. The game doesn't take forever when we both play like we don't care. If you're just jumping in doing whatever you want, and I jump in doing whatever I want, it feels like we're going back and forth, but it's only because we're both making tons of mistakes, right? As soon as one person stops doing that, if the other person just continues to hold forward, the person that's holding forward more often than not gets destroyed. The only way someone can hold forward and not get destroyed is if while they're holding forward, every single guess that they make is right? If every time I approach you, I know that you're going to jump, or you're going to hold shield, or you're going to roll away, doesn't matter what you do, but I never accidentally land on your shield, I never accidentally miss because you get out of the way and you go for a whiff punish. If I'm never ever wrong, that's the only way I can be infinitely aggressive and be successful. So if you find yourself being ultra aggressive, whether or not it feels like it or not, I can call that out for you in the future. But if it feels like or if it looks like you're being ultra aggressive and you're getting reversed constantly, then that could be one of the reasons why things are spiraling, because you are trying to force the issue when you didn't actually have to. As far as that goes as well too, as far as knowing if you need to force the issue or not, there's indicators all over the screen. There's position as to where we are on stage. There's the percent to say who's actually winning, right? And also stocks. And then also there's the time. So if you have tons of time left on the clock, let's say you're down by like 20%, but we're on the same stock, and let's say it's like 5 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock, there's no reason for you to just run in and go for a grab because you're trying to make a comeback, or just run in and go for an up smash because you want to do a combo. It's like, if you have a read, or if I make a mistake at that exact moment in time, then of course capitalize on it, but don't think, oh, I'm down by 20, I have to do something. A lot can happen in 5.5 minutes, right? So use that time.
And I think I make that mistake all the time. Like, I see that I'm down, I try to hairpin rush in and try to get the lead back. So that actually makes sense.
And I can say with that too, there's a lot of other, I guess, entry-level player mistakes that people do when they're trying to rush back in, and higher level players see this all the time. One of the biggest things is when people are off stage and they try to jump on stage with an attack. You just want to get back into the fight, so you go like this when you're coming down, right? So that's a huge indicator of someone who's rushing to try and fight. Another indicator too is, like, let's say you knock me away from you and I immediately roll in to get close to you because I'm too lazy to stand up and run across the stage, right? I'm trying to rush to get beside you so I can, like, let's say get a grab for no reason, or like, let's say I roll, or let's say I roll towards you, spot dodge, and I, like, let's say go for a down smash or something, right? So if I do stuff like that, I'm rushing to fight, and if someone is paying attention to that, as far as, like, let's say you're the slower player or the more patient player who's not rushing, if you know, okay, I can knock him down with the forward tilt, and as soon as he gets over here, he's going to roll in, I can just go for a side B and catch his roll in, or I can go for a down smash into up B and catch the roll in. Whereas a more patient player or a more experienced player will recognize, okay, safety is over here. This is where you are not. Although safety is here, the fight isn't over here, so it's a little bit slower to actually re-engage. But if I value my stocks and my percent and actually winning the game, I'm going to take the more conservative route and not get destroyed by being antsy or aggressive when I definitely am not in the driver's seat.
Gotcha. Another question I had was, like, and it involves, like staying out the space, like waiting for mistakes and everything. Like, does it have anything to do with different characters' burst range? Like, if I stay outside of a character's burst range, and I could force them to make more mistakes? Or is that not really a thing?
No, 100% it is, right? Because you have to worry about someone else's range and their speed, right? If you're fighting against a Sephiroth and I can just forward tilt you and hit you from here and potentially kill you, then you have to know that this is a dangerous place to be, right? Of course, like, Sephiroth can also angle his forward tilt up, but if you were to jump in on the Sephiroth that went for a forward tilt, or run up all the way up onto him and go for shield, forward tilt your shield, then you can get, like, let's say a grab, or you can get a fair out of shield up B if you're super close to him, or maybe just nair out of shield. You should know these things, right? Also, you should be anticipating that at a certain burst range, someone's probably going to try and do something. So at this range, I could probably hit you with, I'll say, 4 different things. I could be a little bit more creative, I guess, but the 4 basic things I could hit you with is instant dash attack, fair, dash grab, or side B. It could be, I could go for nair or like raw back air, but basically lunge at you with an aerial, run at you with like a grounded attack, so dash attack, go for side B, so a special, or go for a dash grab. So this is the burst range. You have to worry about those moves, right? This is not going to hit you. This is not going to hit you, right? This is not going to hit you. It's not going to hit you. So if you know that you're in this range, those are the moves that you have to worry about the most, or those are the ones you should be anticipating. If I'm at this range, I can't hit you with anything except for a laser, okay? If I'm at, like, let's say this range, I can go for, like right here, I can go for side B, or I can go for a laser, but laser at this range is not safe at all, because if I go for a laser and you happen to short hop over top, you can come down and do basically whatever you want. So I have to I have to worry about your burst options as well, and your speed, basically. So if I jump and shoot and you jump into that, then sure. It's not really worth going for this. It's more of a call out just for fun, I would say. In some situations, I'll get like jump towards someone like that and I'll down tilt them because they get stuck in the animation that they didn't want. But that's not something I should go for consistently. I'm much better off playing safer at this range with tilts or using my movement, or either trying to get in closer so I can use my grab, or get further away so I can use my laser. Yeah, absolutely. The character that you're fighting against absolutely matters as far as the burst range and also the options that they have. If a character has a command grab, like I'll say Incineroar or Ganon, that like just dashes across the ground, you should 100% be aware of that range, right? Because if I can just side B and catch you from here, it doesn't really matter if you can shield. Yeah, you can shield like a dash attack or an F smash or something else, but if I can go for a command grab from here, you either have to try and run into this range and bait it, so shield and then jump over my command grab, or run into the range and then dash out of the range. So when I go for my side B, I just barely miss like that.
Oh,
right?
that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, man. That's one of the main strats for bait and punish, right? You're baiting by going into the zone, and then as soon as I think, oh, now's my chance to hit him, he's in my spot where I can actually throw an attack and hit you. As soon as that move comes out, you dash out of the way, right? Or you jump over it, or you shield it, and then you punish it.
Okay. I guess I never really thought about it like that. Cause like I would always hear like bait and punish, and I would not really know what it meant. I mean the words, the sounding of it, it seems simple, but when you put it that way, it kind of makes more sense.
Yeah, man. And like with regards to applying that with your character and knowing what you're trying to accomplish, that's going to be the fundamentals of playing ZSS. She's definitely not a character that just jumps in and does whatever she wants, right? She's very elusive, right? Like she has flip kick, but you don't run at someone and flip kick, right? Same thing with nair. You don't just run at someone and go like this with your nair. It just takes too long, and the spacing for it's much too difficult to just go for nair into whatever you want, unless what you're trying to go for is like nair into dash attack. If you're trying to get like nair into something fancy or actually specific, like nair flip kick, you have to be very precise to make sure you actually catch somebody with that. So you're much better off, like, let's say, running all the way up to somebody, then jumping back with a nair. So if they overextend and miss, then you come down, get your nair into whatever you want. But if you jump back with nair and let's say they don't overextend, you can now dash in again since you created some space, or if you happen to say think that you're going to be in trouble, you could just dash away. Very, very few hits are actually coming out when you're playing your character until it's time to actually go crazy with a combo. Same thing for Falco. I can spend upwards, I'll say 10 to 15 seconds without actually engaging with somebody, and all I'm doing is shooting lasers or walking around or trying to get them into a spot where I can get a grab or an up tilt that I actually want. And then once they are there, then yeah, I do a crazy combo that does 60. It's like, oh, I'm just mashing and going insane. It's like, well, before all those buttons came out, I wasn't doing anything. I was walking around, right? Or jumping, or shooting a laser, or trying to bait you with something, right? That's all I was doing. And then once you get into the spot, so under a platform, or center stage, or wherever I want to go for a specific combo, then I dash in and go for my up tilt once you've made a mistake. Or I dash in and go for like a tomahawk grab because you're scared into shield because you're expecting like a falling nair or like a down air or something. So it's a lot of misdirection with movement and fake outs, and then once it's time to actually strike, then you go for your combo.